scared I'll die of uncertainty. Fear might be the death of me. Fear leads to anxiety. Don't know what's inside of me. Don't forget about me. Don't forget about me. Even when I doubt you, I'm no good without you. No, no. Temperatures dropping. Temperatures dropping. I'm not sure if I can see this ever stopping. Shaking hands with the dark parts of my thoughts. No, you are all that I've got. No, don't forget about me. Don't forget about me. Even when I doubt you, I'm no good without you. No, 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 no. Gnawing on the bishops, claw away up their system, repeating simple phrases. Someone wholly insisted, want the markings made on my skin to mean something to me again. Hope you haven't left without me. Hope you haven't left without me. Please.
Oh my gosh. Welcome everybody to the Real Estate Lab. Thank you for hanging out with us today. We have a fun topic. Daphne, JJ, and I are going to talk about what buying power you have if you have $500,000 to spend, and not just in the Austin, Texas area, but other places. And the reason why is because it's unfortunate, but there are a lot of people that have been listing their homes for sale in Austin, which means they might be looking to go elsewhere. And so that's why this is a really good topic. Daphne, JJ, how are y'all today?
Great. How are you?
I mean, I'm fantastic. I think I told you last week I was practically dying in the ocean off the beach of Costa Rica trying to learn how to surf. Not my jam. Not my
I like
jam.
the highlights though that I saw.
Yeah.
No, I had a blast. I went from not knowing how to do it to knowing how to do it, but I swallowed a lot of salt water in the process.
I think that's good for your intestines.
Oh, it's probably good for a lot of things. Yeah.
How's your digestion? No, I'm just kidding.
Yes. Yeah. Oh. JJ, how are you, man? Like, what's going on in your world?
Good. I'm actually excited about this topic because I do feel like there's still affordability issues. So if Austin has them, people could look a little further out to avoid Austin proper prices. So I'm excited to hear what y'all got going on with that today.
Well, I think it's a really good time for people that are looking to buy, with setting aside the interest rates. Like, you have so many options and you have so many incentives. You have so many builders that are like, we'll give you tens of thousands of dollars if you just buy my product. Try my product. Remember that commercial? Try my product. That they're just, people want to sell you their houses right now. And so I remember this time 2 years ago, buyers were struggling. They're like, I can't find anything I want. Now you can find almost everything you want in Austin today.
Yeah. I'm excited to see kind of where this goes to, because all of us come, even though JJ's from Texas, you came from like the Killeen area, and all of us are from somewhere else. And I know Ian gets to travel a lot. I get to travel a bit. JJ, do you travel?
Not as much with the kids.
Not as much with the kids. Okay. But we all have different perspectives, and we know kind of these other pockets of Texas and other pockets of the country, which are still very appealing and very attractive to a lot of people. So excited to hear what we all have to say about it.
I have an important question to ask, and this goes for anybody who's watched the intro the last couple episodes. Do you hate the music? Is it okay? Do you love the music? The intro music?
Live. If it's YouTube, you can fast forward through it. If it's live,
yeah. But I want it to be. I don't know. I don't want people to be bored. But also, we need time to get ready and all that sort of stuff too.
I didn't notice it.
I personally really like it. It's like a little bit of a pump up for us anyway, without being like too much like screamy rock. But like, I like the beat. Like, that's cool with it.
I'm cool with it.
See what our listeners have to say.
Yeah. All right. So who would someone like to go first, JJ or Daphne? Do you have a particular property or city that you want to talk through?
I was thinking about Central Texas. How close are
Okay.
you to Austin, Daphne?
My body right now, or like my
Your area.
Your
that you're
okay,
gonna
so
body.
be
I'm
talking about.
gonna like my body right now is by the domain. I want to cover two if we have time. The first one I want to go over is actually in San Antonio, and then I'm going to go over some stuff in Minneapolis. So
Let's do San Antonio.
who's further away? What are you going to be covering, Ian?
I was
Well,
gonna do clean.
I want to do sister cities. So I'm going to do Nashville and Seattle. Right. I'm from
Ooh.
Chicago, so
Yeah.
I like that market, but I think more people are moving from Austin to Seattle, to Denver, to Nashville, to
Yes.
North Carolina. So I kind of want to focus. I wanted to focus on that for myself, right? Like,
I agree.
where are they going? Like, if they're selling here, where are they going to?
Okay. Well, let me start. I'll start because I've got some cute, colorful options that we can share.
Speaking of, a lot of people go to Houston and to Dallas as well,
Right.
and further out from Central Texas. So like, it all applies.
Right.
Definitely. Okay. Let me pull this up. Are you sharing my screen or am I sharing my screen?
You have to share your screen.
Okay. I will do just that. Present. Share screen. Sorry, guys, we're still figuring out.
The new platform.
Yeah, exactly.
While we're talking about that, I want to say, I don't know if everybody's heard this, but Redfin was just bought by Rocket Mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
I saw
Right?
some
Because
headlines.
they're trying to, merge into a kind of like an all-in-one platform.
Yeah, that's kind of the headlines these days. A little bit of acquisition action.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Private equity.
Can you guys see my screen?
Yep. There it is.
It's
Okay.
sharing. It's loading.
Fabulous.
Ooh, here we go.
All right. So the first neighborhood I want to focus on in San Antonio is called Tobin Hill. Oh, that's super zoomed out. Let me zoom in so I can show you guys. So Tobin Hill I personally really like it. I love San Antonio. I think there's so much history and culture, and it has grown and it has just become so, I don't know, just like so sweet over the last few years. So that's what I wanted to talk about as a okay, here it is. Cool. So Tobin Hill is this little historical neighborhood. It is located just north of downtown San Antonio. And it is, I think, kind of what the east side of Austin used to be. Like growing wise, it's probably about 10 years behind the east side, I think. And it's known for having kind of a variety of homes. You can find some really cool historical homes there. You can find some newer construction things. And compared to Austin, it's still very affordable. The other thing, it's close to the Riverwalk, which may or may not be appealing, but personally for me, I really like the Pearl. Do you guys know what the Pearl is?
Oh, yeah.
It's
That's
like
a fun little area. Oh, I
Yeah.
mean, similar to like a Mueller or more like a Mueller than the Domain. But yeah, I like it.
Yeah, it's kind of
more
like
history.
a hybrid. I'm sorry, what's that, JJ?
More history because of the factory
Yeah,
history.
exactly. Yeah, so the Pearl, for anybody who's listening who doesn't know, the Pearl Brewery was a brewery starting, I think, I used to know the actual dates. I believe it was in like 1889 is when they opened, and then they shut it down in 2001. And then they revived it probably closer to the pandemic. And there's a bunch of historical buildings in there. Now they have a food court and a bunch of different restaurants in the Central Park. It's like a tiny itty bitty domain. It's not nearly as big, but lots of mixed work, live, play setup. So okay, with that, let me start. One of the homes that I found here in the Tobin Hill area that I really liked is this really cute little home that was built in 1910. So this is historical. It's barely over 1,400 square feet. I love this area because I love the color, I love the pop, I love the history and all the culture and character that this neighborhood has. This is adorable. I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge fan.
Yeah,
So Daphne, this is near the Pearl?
Yeah, it's called Tobin Hill.
Got it.
Tobin Hill.
Yeah. And this is probably
So,
one of the pricier options for the price point because it's barely over 1,400 square feet, but it's totally ready to go. Look how cute that is.
And I believe it's built in 1910. Is that what it said?
1910. Yeah. So
Wow.
I don't actually know, but I think this might be historical. It's got a little bit of weird footprint here for the kitchen, but I think to be expected with an older home like this.
Right.
yeah, I think as
Super
long
cute.
as you're getting taller ceilings, it's a win, right? Because
Honestly,
in
yeah.
early 1900s, the ceilings are like 7 feet, which is fine for me. I'm a short dude, but not for everybody.
Yeah. This is really cute. It's got some very nice updates. If you were to find this on the east side in Austin, what do you guys think this would go for?
14,
On the east
1500
side,
square feet.
probably 750.
Yeah,
Yeah, that sounds about right.
starting. And this is like totally ready to go. I'm impressed. And the yard isn't huge, but I think just because the home is little, it's got a lot of space back there.
That's a good sized yard compared to
It
what you
is.
get
Huge yard.
on the east side. Yeah.
Look at that. Oh, I love this. They're like, here it is compared to downtown. And I think the Pearl is right over, that would be to the right corner.
That's
Right top
excellent.
corner.
And you can see that it's far enough away from the highway so you wouldn't have a lot of noise pollution, right? It's not like it's on the highway like some of the other houses in this district. That's good.
Definitely. And that's, do you want me to share another one too, or does somebody else want to go?
I don't mind exploring the area more.
Okay,
A little
sure.
bit.
Happy to. Happy to. Yeah, for sure. Let me share my screen again.
And what's good about older properties, in theory, they were built in the more established areas. Like that's where the action was occurring to some degree, at least in major cities.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah. Like for instance,
Well,
like
I was going to say that particular property, was it on a pier and beam foundation?
yes. You
It
guys
had to
see
be
the screen again?
that age.
Not
What's
yet.
that?
I said
Yeah.
it kind of had to be being that age and
Yeah.
in the area.
Yeah, definitely.
It reminds me of in Austin, it reminds me kind of like the houses in Taylor, but
Oh yeah,
near something cool.
definitely. Are you guys, can you see it? Am I sharing my screen again?
It's
Now I
loading
can
up.
see the same house
Yes.
that you had up.
Okay, cool. No, that's fine. I just want to make sure you guys could see it. But yeah, this is pier and beam. Yeah, and the thing is, Tobin Hill, it just has a really cute, cozy little neighborhood vibe to it, which is awesome. Was this one I wanted to share? No. This one. Okay. This one, again, in Tobin Hill. Big. It is 2,700 square feet, built in 1920, and it sits on a third of an acre, y'all. Third of an acre.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yep.
That's insane.
485, right? 485 for this guy. And again, very, is that centered on y'all's screen? Can you see that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can see it okay.
Cool. I love this style. So historical, so Southern, and just the fact that they put these little Mexican flags on here on these homes is, I think this speaks volumes that they are so connected to culture and keeping that alive, which I think we can all appreciate.
And they put it in the listing. Like that's a second listing with it in the listing photos.
Yeah. Yep. There's another neighborhood. I didn't include that one because it's more expensive. It's called Prince Williams, I think. Prince Williams. And it's all historic homes in San Antonio. It's right outside of downtown. And it's all houses like this. And they all have colorful streamers and flags. And so cute. Okay. Look at this woodwork. What the heck? What?
Yeah, that's what? This is like 1900, early 1900s.
1920.
Yeah.
Look at that. That is so cool.
That's original
And
wood, it looks like. Just
Yeah.
polished, but looks like it would be original.
I mean, but this is in great condition, except maybe this pillar that seems to be leaning. But aside from that, what is this door? It just, we don't have that. Maybe you can find that here in Hyde Park, but you're talking 1.2, 1.5 million for this starting.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah. It has a lot of character, a lot of uniqueness to it. And I think that's one of those things that you're either completely for it or completely against it. I think that's the sentiment most people have. It's like, I either need something that's as modern as possible, or I really like this historic charm.
Mm-hmm. It's so cute. I mean, I think this is adorable considering the brand of the neighborhood. This is on brand for that area. I'm just kind of repeating the photos here. So very quirky. Someone might want to make updates and make it a little bit different, but I mean, it is ready to go, so it seems. And that's 485, which, oh, did we have
400s. That's amazing.
Yeah.
photos of the back? Let's see.
So also near the Pearl, all these are the same district, right?
Yeah.
Tobin
Yep.
Hill.
Here
So
we go.
basically, if you're looking to move to San Antonio from Austin, this is an interesting option because it puts you closer to like a city center, like a downtown city center, and giving you a little more space. Is that what I'm seeing?
Yeah. And a lot of character.
A lot
Look
of
at
character.
this. What is this?
That is
That
wild.
is actually really cool. But you don't see houses like that here.
No.
For
you really don't.
400s, that is bananas.
Yeah. This is crazy.
I
Crazy.
take that back.
town.
There are some houses like that, but they're going to
mean-
cost more or be further
Yeah.
away. Or be further away.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, just like you said, you can get something like this maybe if you're lucky in Taylor. And from one of the bedrooms, you have a view of downtown.
That's cool. Yeah.
That's dope.
That's
I think
a
the
good find.
only other comparable neighborhood I can think of that may have something like this in Austin is right by UT or in UT.
Yep.
But again, that's going to be probably closer to like 2.5 million.
Yeah. I'm sure there's stuff like that in like Terrytown, Clarksville, but you know,
Yep.
that's
Looks
very
like she needs a new
luxury.
roof. This roof looks worn. But yeah, I mean,
How long are
Even-
those on the market?
I'm not sure. Let me check. I gotta stop sharing real quick. Most recently, 30 days. They had it listed for a couple years, kind of on and off. So,
Yeah, because it's a very unique property. Like it's not going to sell right away. It's you're looking for a specific buyer type.
definitely. But I mean, the option is there. And even if, let's say it's been on the market for, we'll call it a year. It's been on the market for a year. Market's different there. Let's say you get it even for 450 because it's 485 and you put in 100,000 into it. Like that's amazing. I'm sure there's a lot of upside there.
Yeah. And it came with a pool?
Yeah. Who knows what condition the pool's in, but
Yeah.
Yeah, gotta do inspections.
yeah. So
Good.
anyway, cool on paper anyway.
I love it.
Yeah.
What area did you want to look at?
Okay, so this isn't a metropolitan area. There might
Okay.
not be as much charm, but I'm prefacing the military town that we know as now Fort Cavazos. When I grew up there, it was Fort Hood, Killeen Fort
Why-
Hood,
Why did they change the name?
because the Hood soldier, I believe, was a Confederate,
Oh.
to my knowledge. I could be wrong, but something happened in 2020 when things were just changing names for various reasons.
Got it.
I like
That's
Fort Hood
easy.
though.
Yeah, it's easy to because what's the name now?
Cavazos.
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 I don't even know what that means in
Fort
Spanish.
Cavazos. Yeah.
It's another they're named after soldiers.
Hmm.
I wish I knew
Okay.
more history there, but look into it because he's probably an awesome guy.
Has to be.
So, and the thing about Killeen, the area itself as a town, and it's like a army town, right? The median price point's in the 200s. So we're not going to see as much, architectural history. If anything, let me show a map here. Screen share. Let's do the wind screen. So I actually grew up in the area, but I also decided to flex my Central Texas MLS because there's different MLSs. For those of y'all that don't know, there's an Austin MLS, and then the further you get away from the Austin area, you have to subscribe to another realtor MLS subscription. So this is CTX.
Can we pause and talk about that for just half a second? Because I
Sure.
don't think that's a common conversation after the whole NAR settlement 6 or so months ago, where there were sellers specifically that sued the National Association of Realtors. And part of the reason is because they felt that there was price fixing, all that sort of stuff. But really the MLS, there are people that want to have access to the MLS. As realtors, we've paid to be part of different MLSs. Okay. Part of the reason for that is something called geographical competence. And you don't necessarily want to have people that have access. I got to be careful with how I'm saying this, but there are some people that'll act like they know and they won't. They've never spent time there. They don't actually know the area, but they'll pretend they do and then use that to help you buy or sell a house. You don't really want to be in that situation. And so that's why they had separated and segregated some of these MLS systems.
Right. And Texas is also different. Like here in California, it's like one MLS and they could look at the whole state.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing. If you're in the Bay Area, do you really know Chula Vista? Like, do you know everything about it? Lake Isabel? Like, do you know some of these other areas? I think you may have visited, but would you trust somebody with millions of dollars to help you if they don't actually know that area? It's a serious question.
And a reminder for people interviewing realtors, like really interview realtor or even just choosing realtors, ask these questions. Because a lot of people, you could get swept up into some marketing and just start going with it. I've noticed being a realtor, you wonder why people would do that, but people do that.
I've been to Coachella. I know everything I need to know about California. I'll sell you a house.
And Burning Man.
That's not how it goes.
Exactly. So I do primarily work in Austin, but I do tap into Killeen. So you go an hour north, right? You're going north on I-35. You pass Round Rock, Georgetown, Jarrell. This is the CTX, Central Texas MLS starts to hit the Temple, Belton, Killeen area. So if I log into the MLS, the counties leave Travis and Williamson. So it's mainly like Bell, Lampasas County. And I chose Nolanville because there is a newer construction. So you could see these are built like 2005 to 2025. And what you'll see is over a third of an acre, 2,200 square feet.
Wow.
Built in 25. Those new construction pictures. And you could work with this builder too. They actually, I know there's a spectrum of the word custom, but they will work with you on how to build because I think generally there's like a slower pace of things.
And what's the price point of this?
This is listed at 500 and some change.
Okay. And what size? 23?
2,200 square feet, built in 2025, over a third of an acre.
I'm actually surprised that it's listed at that price in that area.
Me too.
For that size.
Especially because JJ, you were mentioning that kind of like the average price is what, like 225? Is that what you said?
Yeah, Killeen's in the 200s.
Well,
so I was expecting this to be like 250.
And we also we want to be clear that this is more of a custom build, right? Not like your standard tract home. And so they use completely different materials in their building. Maybe not completely different, but some of the different materials. The window sizes are custom. You can see the tub, the mirrors, all of those things. So when you're doing a custom build, it's generally a higher price per square foot than, let's say, going to like KB Home or Scott Felder or Highland Homes.
Yeah, this is, doing sales in both areas. These builders let you pick out a whole lot.
Wow.
You
That's so cool because here they don't, right?
Yeah.
Nope.
Look at that, third of an acre.
Wow.
Over a third of an acre.
You've got 9 neighbors behind you. That's what I'm noticing. Look at that. Like everybody's in your backyard.
A little bit of hill country views right there.
We have a question.
Yeah. Who's going to read it?
Aaron is asking, how are tariffs impacting prices?
There's a lot of theories on that. Who wants to go first?
Well, the first thing I'm going to say is I think there are a lot more homes coming on the market. I think in anticipation of that, but also it's spring. And also, actually, Aaron and I have talked about this a lot, but there are, I didn't really want to go into it right now, but there's a whole release on who's got the worst federal student loan debt in the United States. And all of these things are kind of culminating into, if you bought a house back when interest rates are low and, tariffs were manageable, how does that make you take action today? If you lost your job, there's so many things that are happening in the landscape that I can't necessarily call it just a tariff. Like say that the tariffs are the cause of these things, but there are a lot of changes that are happening in the Austin market, especially.
Yeah.
My take is last time the administration had tariffs, prices went up. And I couldn't really pinpoint. I remember being at builders walkthroughs and I'll talk to the on-site rep and I would say, hey, is it because the, cabinetry is from China or, countertops from Mexico or like what's going on from Canada? Because this is all it takes as a global economy to even build American homes. And no one could really answer me, but it obviously there's going to be an expense. It depends on who's going to pay it. Is it going to be, the importing countries or is it going to be the consumer? But someone's going to pay for it.
I mean, it's always, in a way, it's almost always the consumer, right? Like even if the business is impacted, they're just going to have to transition the prices over to the consumer. But yeah, this is the graphic that I was talking about. So based on the state, what the loan debt is as an average for each, for the people of the state, right? And so North Dakota doing pretty well with the low. Texas is actually doing pretty well. But when you get over to California, it's like everybody got loans to go to college and still have a lot of debt. Same with Florida, surprisingly. And New York. Well, I say that because my interpretation of things like this, I'm always looking to see who do I think the population is of that area. And so if I see high debt, high education debt or loan debt in Florida, I'm like, wait a minute, doesn't Florida have more older people than younger people? Or has that shifted? Right? Like if you're 70 years old and you still have federal student loan debt, I'm not saying that's not a thing. I'm saying, okay, this is a shift from what I originally thought.
Mm-hmm. The northeast corner of the country is not surprising at all.
No, that's not at all. No.
Not at all, right? Yeah.
Right. You've got your MIT or like there's a lot.
Of course.
So, and same with California, right? Everybody wants to go to Stanford or Yale or, okay. So Aaron also says, I think rates will drop and it will even out as an unpopular opinion. What do y'all think of that?
I read something recently that they're expecting the economy to do a little bit better so they could raise rates.
Who's they? I always ask that. Who the heck is they that's expecting it, right? Like, are these
the headline said that the Fed would do it, but I forget. I'm just reading headlines.
Yeah. I mean, because the headlines, they're just dished out to us just like the algorithms on different social media platforms. We're going to see what we consume.
Yeah.
So,
I'm reluctant to trust anything I see anywhere because there's just so many wild cards. I feel like, I mean, less than there were, but
basically, yeah.
They've been saying they were going to drop interest rates since like this time last year. And inflation's gotten to a fairly manageable spot. We're not at like 5% anymore, but they've been saying they're going to do it and they haven't done it. They've had plenty of opportunities. And they were saying that they were going to do it like 4 times by Q1, I think last year, end of 24, they were saying they were going to drop the rates 4 times by Q1 of 25. And here we are, Q1 of 25. Have they dropped? I don't think so. It's possible they haven't. It's possible they have, but
yeah, I think some of that, like, not to be a conspiracy theorist, but I think some of that was posturing in the wake of new elections.
Absolutely.
Like transitions of power.
Absolutely. I would agree with you 1,000%.
Aaron says they is the fry cook at Wendy's, which I think is funny. This actually, I really want to talk about this. Let's take just a half a moment. So sure. I hope Aaron get a house while the equity is down, let's say 50K, right? Rates are so much higher that if he were to buy that house today, he's still saving $500 a month.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you buy that house today, the prices are so much higher with the interest rate that he couldn't get that same house for this price.
Correct.
Right now. And so there are a handful of people that are in that situation where they have houses, they don't want to sell them, they don't need to sell them. And the only thing they might be waiting for is a refinance, especially if they bought them as the rates climbed a little bit, is to refinance and then just hold on to it because the equity
Yeah.
let's see. People don't
Yeah,
really
you made a
count
great
equity.
point.
They count monthly payments. That's exactly it. They count monthly payments, not the equity. And it depends on
Yeah.
if you're thinking short game or
Yeah.
long game.
Totally. Yeah. Most people that are buying a home as their residence and not looking to build a portfolio, Aaron is 100% right. They're really looking at the payments. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
he
Thanks for
said
your
I won't mention the equity drop. I'll mention it. It's fine.
I don't know if we could afford to drop rates because the affordability is still crazy. At
Well,
least in Boston.
did anybody see what it was Powell? Was it last week that he talked about rates again and said, never mind? Never mind.
Say more. No. Tell me about that.
Well, I don't want to talk out of my butt. I was surfing. So,
Okay.
but I do need to review that. Let's get back onto topic for
Okay.
what we were going over. JJ, you showed some, right?
Yes. Let's see.
Aaron says a lot has happened since the Jay Powell talk. But good. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he said never mind. Everything we said before is no longer true, and we're gonna have to reassess. Is essentially what I got
Great.
from the. Yeah, it's like okay.
Sounds like a government.
Okay, now I did this thing, and I want to see how y'all feel about it. I created a GPT that allows us to put in information and compare the homes, kind of like an easy way. But
I like playing with AI.
Oh yeah, no, like this is my jam. But specifically to tackle houses that are across the country, right? Because I have clients that are like, I want to move to New Braunfels or Austin or Temple. It's like, what? That's not. What do you mean or? Right? Okay, so like here's a great example. I'm going to show a couple of houses. I'm going to show this house. So this house in Nashville is listed at $825,000. It looks like they're on a shared lot, right? But 1,000 square feet. And I'm looking at this. I'm like, it's kind of nice on the inside, but wow. And so this is on one website. So I'm going to take this information and copy it and go back into this GPT that I created. And I'm going to say, compare these houses. I'm going to put that address. And then, so this is the Nashville. This is one in Nashville. Oh, sorry, Seattle. I also want to grab one for Austin. And so the one that I chose for Austin was this one. I thought this was really cool. It's kind of like in the northern Great Hills area.
Great area. I love it.
Trying to stay with the price point, right? We were talking about the price point. So I'm going to select the house. It's got some key details. Not much different with the square footage, price per square foot. Here's the location for people so that they can see it. Okay, so I pulled one from, what was it, Redfin. I pulled this one from my website, ianofboston.com. So, and I'm going to paste that address here. And it doesn't matter necessarily where you get it. What matters is what you're getting, like what information you're getting. And then I have one for Nashville. Let me pull this one up in Nashville. So I saw this house and I thought, okay, this is pretty interesting. And it's not far from the airport, between the airport and the city, kind of like our East Austin vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Built in 2020, been on the market a little bit. What were you saying?
I was going to say something, just a little side note. We were stranded in Nashville for a day during Christmas, and I was poking around Redfin, or actually Realtor.com, and they have pretty low property taxes and also no state income tax.
So Tennessee has, all of Tennessee has no state income tax, and their property taxes are averaging about 1.3% of the value of your home, which is incredible because, here in Austin, we're anywhere from just under 2% to 3.5%. And that's in Austin. It's even higher in Houston on average. So I'm taking the address from this, going back to the GPT, and I'm pasting the address. Okay, I've got 3 addresses here. Let's see if this works like I hoped it worked.
Let's see.
Because this is the kind of thing that people, I feel like it's a little bit of a gap. So it takes, it gave me no data on those. which is really strange. But it's supposed to take these, compare them across. I wonder why it gave that. Usually I have the links in there and it works just fine. But HOA fee, this. And so like here, right here, the estimated monthly payment at $542 a month for this house, that's $825,000. Right?
Okay.
With current interest rate, even though it's not far from this Northgate station in Seattle, in downtown, it's standalone home, high finishes. That price point, what are we getting? $767 a square foot. That is a lot, right?
Yes. Yep.
Oh yeah.
That's like
I think
downtown
that's a lot.
prices here,
Mhm.
here downtown.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go through and I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to add the 3 houses again and just say compare. And I'm just going to do the links,
Yeah. Maybe it needs to read the link.
which I have. So I did Nashville. I have Seattle. Nashville, Seattle, and then the one in Austin.
Those are good picks too. Those are.
Yeah, I know. I
very
really liked
good.
them. I thought they were great.
Very cool.
All right, let me go back to share. Present, share. There we go. And let's run it and see what we get. I just added the long links in there. Hopefully that still pulls it. I wonder if Redfin is going to change things now that they're owned by Rocket. Okay, so this worked. When I did the link, it pulled the information. So maybe I had maybe I formatted the address wrong, or maybe there was a character space in there where it shouldn't have been, even though it should have picked that up. Okay, so this is better, much better. All right, so this is good. Okay, so now let's go back and look. So 525, 825, 545. So this one's been on the market 3 days. For some reason, it doesn't show how long these have been on the market. $298 a square foot, $767, and $399. So you're getting very different prices per square foot, very different years, but they're all 3 beds and 2.5, or 3 beds and 2 baths. So the size, 4,000 square foot. Oof. For the lot, 1,900 square foot, and then 9,000 square foot. That's pretty good. So almost a quarter of an acre, right? So like being able to compare them across the board like this, again, is something that I don't see a whole lot. So I love, without having to create your own spreadsheets and put it all together. Okay, so it also says who do these match pretty well. So like the best value per square foot is obviously this one, largest lot, and then best for low maintenance based on being newly built, right? Best for families based on size and neighborhood. So it puts all this information together for us. And then the trade-offs that you're going. So it gives all like a trade-off for all 3. Modern amenities, rooftop deck, downtown views near Nashville's hot spots, but it's a smaller lot size, higher estimated monthly payments, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I thought this was a fun tool that that people could use to come up with comparisons for houses.
So cool.
That's
well,
awesome.
like an obvious option that I didn't even think of.
Right?
Well done.
Thank you.
It's just ChatGPT, and then you're asking it this.
Mm-hmm. I'm just sharing the links.
I created a custom GPT that already knows what grids, what fields, and how to extrapolate the data from the websites to be able to put it in this format, and then provide the facts that are and I guess interpretations of the data.
Well done.
Nerd.
Thank you. You are such a nerd.
I'm very much a nerd.
And we need people like you.
Yeah. Thank you. All right. So this is where knowing local real estate is important. That's Northgate, Seattle.
Said you don't want to live there.
You don't want to live there. Yeah, but see, that's actually what's really interesting. It's Northgate, Seattle. You don't want to live there. However, you would hear the same people say that about, and this is not my opinion, this is just what I hear people saying because I'm a realtor and blah, blah, blah. Right. So you hear the same people saying that thing about East Austin or about Runberg. Right? Like you hear people saying that and you're like, but why? Where are you getting this information? If you've been there recently and you have a certain experience, that's one thing, but this is the kind of thing that you're absolutely right. Knowing the area is kind of important.
Completely. The nuance.
Yeah. But we were comparing price, not necessarily area, but yeah. So Aaron lived in Seattle, and so he's saying that Wallingford, Seattle, is a good comparison to, I guess, the areas in Nashville and Austin that we shared. But what's interesting about that is, I don't know, Aaron, if you've been there recently, or if you saw friends or family that live there, but is there a possibility that it's changed over the years that you've lived in Austin? I like, this is literally an open question. I don't know that. But also, I do agree that real estate is very local and you want to get a feel. A GPT like that is just a tool for you to start comparing the facts of the matter. It actually recommends you at the end to go get a real estate agent anyway. I made sure to program that into the GPT as well.
See what you did there. I like it.
That's important. So Aaron says he was in Seattle like 11 months ago. So yeah, I mean, if he spent time there and knows what it's like, I mean, he's probably not shopping for houses in Seattle Northgate.
So
but
curious.
Also,
why is he spending time in Northgate if you don't want to live there? What's going on, Aaron?
Good question. That's probably for like work or
curious.
friends or family.
I'm just a nosy gal.
All
right, we're talking about that. Oh, I have this kind of has been sticking with me. I get this referral from a friend, and I end up eating like a late lunch with this potential seller. So it's not even a listing meeting. It's just like a meet and greet. And she's coming at me, I understand her position. I'm just hearing it out. She's like, aren't agents going to be obsolete because of AI? And you could just start putting stuff into AI tools, and then you don't need an agent to help walk you through everything. And sales are at all-time low. Sales hasn't been this down since the 90s, and it's probably going to stay like that because of tech, and the whole tech is going to replace the agent. What are your thoughts on that?
Daphne?
Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts on that. So, I mean, we've been hearing this since the iBuyers came, and I don't know how old this lady is, but I will use my mother as the example because she's in real estate in Minnesota and she's mother age. And every time anything remotely real estate tech related comes about, she freaks out. They're trying to kill us off. The industry's changing for the worse. Realtors are gonna be obsolete. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then 3 weeks later, a year later, 2 years later, everything's still kind of the same. People are always real estate it's like, just like Aaron said, it's very, what was the word you used? Geographical, very like niche.
Yeah.
It's also very much a relationship business because there are big decisions that people have to make and they need some human holding their hand. And a lot of times, this is going to sound cheesy, their little heart through this process that a machine could never freaking do because it's just facts and numbers. Thank you. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
JJ, what do you think?
I'm pro. Me?
Yeah.
I'm
pro.
You
asked the question.
I think we've been in the business long enough to see how much humanity is necessary in between all the steps. Obviously, if that could get automated, I would get the AI and run my business that way. Mm-hmm. But I'm involved every day with all these little things. It's a lot to explain, but there is that human, niche expertise in the everything's so different, house to house, block to block, town to town. The deals are different. I definitely think we need to know how to use it, but I think the obsolete thing, I don't think it's anywhere close.
No.
Yeah, I think I'm going to agree with you in that it's, Aaron said very belly to belly, and he's right about that. Yeah, I think that's a hard thing for an algorithm to be able to figure out, specifically because of the different laws and the different laws across the states right now and how the data is accessible. So what I mean by that is there are things like, what are they called? Arm's length transactions. Like I have a buddy who bought a house from his mom. Does that count in the comps? If you're looking on Zillow, you don't know what you're going to get, right? But if you are working with an agent that has familiarity in that area, you're like, oh, okay, I actually remember this transaction, and here's what happened. It's showing as 70% less than market value, because while you have to report it, it was still a family member buying the house. Like those are the types of things that you're not going to get on some of these third-party websites, especially now that they all left the local MLSs after the whole NAR lawsuit. Yep. Zillow left, Redfin left. That's why Redfin is bleeding and is now having to be bought. Might not be the only reason why, but is now being acquired by Rocket Mortgage because they have to figure out a new way to make things happen, right? Open Door crashed and burned. All these sites that did really well over the last couple years are not anymore. So I
have to get that in there.
I think I'm becoming best friends with John. So they were talking about Seattle. So when Aaron was in Seattle a few months ago in Northgate, it was because he didn't have a car, yet he went to the station to go to a casino. He had to go to a casino because there are no casinos in Texas, and he had to get his fix. I'm just kidding. I don't
see that in the comments, but I love that you're seeing that.
No, he doesn't. It doesn't say that in the comments. I just remember the
private client confidentiality. Right? Ian, what the heck?
Yeah. So Northgate is where people congregate, and thousands of college students from UW. Okay. But also 15 minutes from downtown, which makes it appealing. This is what I was saying, where it's like East Austin, right? It's not far from the city center. It's walking or driving distance. And the homes are generally less costly. So this is also a really fun point. Every time he looks at a house, then his wife asks, and that's just because you build relationships with your agents. Hopefully they're not just like one and done. And that actually happened a lot over the last few years, where so many people got their real estate license because interest rates were low and everybody was buying a house. And then next thing you know, we've now had so much attrition where there are almost no real estate agents left in Austin because they've all either gone somewhere else, moved somewhere, or got out of the business because they couldn't make it happen.
I like John's comment. Can I read it?
Please.
Yeah.
Okay. Like pastors, people need agents to share their experience, wisdom, expertise, and human element needed when purchasing a house. Correct. So many times when clients ask me questions, a lot of times I'll reference, well, in my experience, and it's literally in my experience from past transactions that we've done. And I've been in real estate 12 years. Like, I have a lot of things to share, and I know you guys do too.
Well, I actually think that's a really interesting point, because how many of us have so many stories, whether horror stories or celebratory stories, that we haven't given to the world? We haven't talked about this to the world, right? Like the one time I walked into a house on Lake Travis, like not far from the lake. It was like $275,000 near Lake Travis. My client was like, "We have to go." And I said, okay. We went there. First off, we walked through. It was almost like a tarp in the front instead of a door. No door. You walk in and there were like doll heads hanging from the ceiling. There were all sorts of, I'll call them taxidermied animals, but I don't think it was the legit kind. And then as we walked into, it was like a bungalow style house. As we walked further back, and I was like, oh, there's a draft. They left a window open. No, I looked to the right and there was just a wall missing. I was like, got it. Okay, this helps me understand. Scorpion in the bathtub. It's like seeing that kind of stuff is just
cash buyer.
Incredible. Huh?
Cash buyer?
No.
Yeah, the bank's gonna finance
that. Getting a really cute house in Taylor, acre. It had an ADU attached for like the same price. So like it worked out really well.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So demo and rebuild, great opportunity. Right? Houses near cemeteries, like there are all these things, these variables that people don't consider. They think that they're the only ones that thought about it. It's like, no, I've seen this 20 times.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Are we still reading comments, or should we move on to our next?
No. Let's go.
Were you going to share? Okay, do you want me to share a spot? I will, or does somebody else? Oh, go for it.
What spot do you got? Well, this is another Bella Charka. We left off on that. Temple? Hold on. So another, like, just real quick for affordability purposes, Temple, Texas. Another new construction, Wildflower Country. Temple's still in the same area off I-35. And this is a popular, oh, they're not even sharing the new construction. But this is a popular country club. Let's see. Again, similar, half an acre, 2,100 square feet in Temple, new construction.
So like this actually aligns with Aaron's comment about like where in the street is this house. Like there are people that only want houses that are set back, but because this one doesn't have trees in the front, they don't feel like it's enough privacy.
Cul-de-sac.
Right? Or if it's on a cul-de-sac at the end, it's like, great, nobody can sneak behind me, but then you see the road right behind the house.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much more land for sure going that far out for 500.
And sometimes you'll see houses like that have a ton of land, and then right behind them is a brand new development, and all the houses are like stacked on top of each other and 2 stories, and so they're looking right down in your backyard.
Oh, you could see there's more detail in the build here. Stone fireplace.
I'm super excited to keep sharing. I love the options that we have.
Let's move to the next. You have one?
Yeah.
I do. So I'm not trying to, JJ, I don't want to like kick you out if you're.
No, you're good.
We're running low on time. That's why I want to, it's like, let's go.
Okay, let's do it. Let me share my screen. Yes, share screen. Yes.
No. I remember showing a house, and in the backyard of the neighbor's house, someone was sunbathing, and she wasn't wearing anything.
Of course, she wasn't.
That's the kind of stuff you got to watch out for. It's like, what?
Yeah, tan lines. You don't want tan lines.
Yeah, right. Sure, tan lines.
All right, guys, let me show you this one, and then we'll wrap up or get close to wrapping up. So I just want to show you real quick. I mostly grew up in Minneapolis, right in the center of Minneapolis. And one of the things I loved about this Twin Cities is what this is called, especially the neighborhood we were in. It was extremely walkable. My mom still lives there, and there are 2-3 grocery stores within a mile radius, if not less. You can get to the lake pretty quickly. There's tons of stuff to do. There's lots of culture. It's an awesome place I wouldn't live there again, but definitely a fun place to visit. So there's one home that I found that is right here, as you can see on this dot. And
you said you wouldn't live there again?
No.
Okay, that's fair. Go ahead.
Yeah. And as you can see here on the map, there are several lakes kind of around. This pocket where the lake is one of the more expensive areas in Minneapolis. There's a couple other more expensive areas, but it's pricey for obvious reasons. It's right by the lake. This lake, and honestly, most of the lakes in the Twin Cities are paved, so you can go walking, running, biking, whatever. Roller skating. I grew up roller skating. Over here on the left side, you can see there's an intersection called 50th and France. This is a really super cute, kind of like high-end intersection. There's coffee shops, there's stores, there's an old-time movie theater, there's restaurants, all sorts of stuff. And then kind of like over in this area, there's several shopping malls, things to do. There's parks everywhere. It's an awesome area. And this home in particular that I wanted to show y'all, let me go back so I can get the photos. Where did she go? Where did she go? Here it is. Okay, cool. So this one, super, just kind of a standard little home, but it's cute. It's got some character. This one was built in 1951. Most of the homes in this pocket were actually built like 1940 to 1950. So this is right along where it would be. 1,700 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. I'm not sure if it has a finished basement or not, but just cute. Easy to like, not anything too crazy. It looks like it's got newer windows. Oh, what? Oh, wow. Okay, interesting.
Ooh.
Oh,
yeah. Okay.
I love that and hate it at the same time. The whole loft upstairs. Again, for short people, not a problem. For tall people, I don't know.
This is a thing, though. This is very much a thing in the North, at least in the Twin
Yeah.
Cities. If you have attic space, this is what people do with it. And they call these the knee walls. And this is extremely normal.
And that's counted in the square footage?
Yes. Anything that's finished and livable, like this basement, that's counted as a square footage.
I remember that there was a house I was going to buy in Kenosha, Wisconsin, and it was that style. It was a bungalow style, and it had the roof. And I remember I went up there, and the roof, because the weight of the snow had caused the roof to like concave, and I was like, "That's not good. Like one day that's going to be a real big problem for people."
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's funny. So I've got a little house by my mom's house, and it's a very similar floor plan to that one. It looks different on the outside, but you see kind of these little floor plans. I've seen so many homes there just because I grew up in real estate, and there's like maybe 4 or 5 in that neighborhood that just keep getting repeated. And because they're like 70 years old now, the insides are so different. But yeah, that's like a decent deal for that part of town. It's close to a ton of stuff to do, very walkable. Chill, not a lot goes on there.
There's so many good deals for 500 after you leave Austin.
Kind of
Seattle.
I guess I'm curious about that as a question, because when you were buying your, let's say, most recent home, did walkability matter?
No. The one I live in now? No. Yeah, a little bit. I guess I move a lot.
Right.
And yeah, so I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
JJ, what about you?
For sure. I mean, out here in the suburbs in Pflugerville, I at least walk to like a pond, the playground, and a community center. That helped me. I love walkability. Like I lived downtown for 12 years. I need it.
It's nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ian, how about you?
I think a neighborhood that feels like it's walkable in terms of I don't have to worry about anybody saying or doing anything. That's different than how close am I to the grocery store or to a park or to something else.
Peaceful
so those
walkability.
are people. Like if I'm outside, cutting my grass, which I don't do, but if I was outside cutting my grass, do I have to worry about that? Or great example. Oh my gosh, like the Cybertruck, it's sitting outside. Do I have to worry about somebody coming and smashing my window because people are ridiculous right now?
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about, and that's another podcast for another time.
Yeah. Yeah. Aaron says the jobs in Austin, they pay well, especially in tech. There's lots of opportunities. And I think I don't know what he's referring to, like the walkability costs money.
Yes.
Or the
live in
houses
Austin,
cost
I think.
money.
The opportunity, like you got to pay to play type.
Yeah, you do. You do. Do you feel like Austin is still in that realm where people are excited to come here?
Well, it's funny because South by is going on right now, so
it is
definitely exciting to come here right now.
There's an uptick right now.
Yeah. Oh, Traffic is a lot of fun.
Yep.
For sure.
Oh, I love a little bit of traffic, because when else are you going to sit outside looking at the sky?
Yeah.
I was in traffic in Zilker Park because of South by, and that was a cool view.
I'm sure that must have been very refreshing.
I felt like I was at the park when I was showing properties,
Mm-hmm.
I like this comment a lot. John S. says, I'm originally from Seattle. I remember that actually. And he's been here for 4 years, but Austin is an amazing place to live, and you get so much more for the buck. And we saw that earlier. I showed that house from Seattle, and it was like a lot more price per square foot. And in a neighborhood that Aaron wouldn't want to go because unless he's looking for a casino, like that's the only reason he would go there.
I think
so read this. Somebody want to read this?
I need to make like $400K a year to match what I make in Austin, adjusted for cost of living, from Aaron.
Yeah.
He will not get paid $400K in Seattle for any job I do. He does.
Yeah. So like if he wanted to live in Seattle, he'd have to make that much money in order for it to make sense to live there. So, and I think that's one of those things that people that have, I say this all the time, people move for love or money. And I think a lot of people moved and then they didn't understand the money. Right? Like they came here and they're like, oh, property, like they didn't think about the property taxes. They just thought no state income tax and the prices are lower. Let's just move here and buy a bunch of stuff. And then the property taxes started hitting them and they said, uh-oh. And then all the other things we were talking about, like the debt and just overall cost of living and what's the price of eggs right now.
Yeah.
Now tariffs, interest rates not going down like people were being told, all these things coming to a head.
But we could figure it out together, y'all.
Hands in the middle.
I agree with this. Hands in the middle. Return to office caused a lot of shakeup for a lot of people, right? And if you had to decide where you're going to spend your time and family was involved and work was at play, where do you see yourself going?
John says, and I would rather, okay. And I would rather endure 4 months of hellish here than 8 months of dark, cloudy, and rainy. Amen, John.
He's referring to the heat.
It's not that hot.
Yes, it is.
Oh my gosh, it is, dude.
It is infernal like. It sucks. It sucks. However, you can still function in that weather. You don't have to, just like you said, it's not dark all the time. And also you don't have to wait for your car to defrost for like an hour before you can go be part of the world.
Yeah.
Something
feels good about sweating a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
Like it clears
I
out
don't
your
like it. I
pores or
hate it,
something.
but
It's like you're working out.
What?
But you're getting burnt.
awful.
This guy.
I agree with Aaron.
That the food in Austin is awful?
I don't think it's awful, but it's not as good as it is in other parts of the country.
Yeah.
We're lacking a lot of food diversity. I think that's what you're saying. I don't know if you are or not, Aaron. But
It's like Austin's like trending a bunch of. It's like a trendy food thing.
And like Tex-Mex.
And fusion and Tex-Mex.
Okay. Hold on. He says he grew up in Houston.
Yeah.
So Austin is disgusting. Kale does not belong on a taco. That didn't come from Austin. That came from California.
Well, Austin's fusioning things.
Yeah.
They're just,
yeah. Oh my gosh. Did you see the it's halal Mexican fusion food truck?
No, I was eating halal pizza though.
Like that is phenomenal, man. It's like that's the kind of stuff I like that they're experimenting.
Yeah, I'll eat it, but the traditional stuff, I think.
Well,
at least.
And Houston's like 5 times the size. Of course it's going to be more diverse. Chicago has incredible food, but it's all over the place. You have to drive an hour to try something new.
But Houston still does have better food. Chinatown.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, like for instance, like my boyfriend's Persian and we like to go to Middle Eastern places and there's not a lot here. There's a couple, but like go to Detroit. They're everywhere. They have a huge Lebanese population. Houston does too. I mean, yeah. This is another podcast for another time. I feel like this would be a great podcast idea.
Oh, we should do food.
Talk about food. Our top 10 favorite restaurants.
Yeah.
I love it. All right, y'all started something. We're gonna have to fight for Austin. Something like that. All right, y'all. Thank you so much. Had a good time. See you in 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See you in 2 weeks.
Appreciate y'all.
Bye.
See ya. Bye.